Today we are making falafel stand-inspired Negev potatoes. Here are the ingredients that we're using today. This is the second recipe that I've made from the Shavuot of Longing cookbook. This book was published by Be'eri printers to honor the hostages taken during the October 7th attack. This cookbook features recipes that were submitted by the families of the hostages, and we are featuring one recipe today to help break the Yom Kippur fast. 3 large Yukon Gold potatoes, 1 egg. We are using farm fresh eggs today. This is a Celadon quail egg, and this is a teeny tiny button quail egg. It's so cool seeing the size difference with all 3 together. We are also using all-purpose flour, baking powder, black pepper, and salt. Let's get started. The first step is to wash and slice the potatoes, and then you'll preheat the oven to 425, and I lined my pan with parchment paper. I decided to make 2 batches, one using beef tallow and one using olive oil. Here is this beautiful Israeli olive oil that I got from my most recent order from Israel Cart. It is just beautiful and amazing, and it makes every recipe taste better. And here is a sneak peek of a round braided challah that I made earlier in the day. So the original recipe actually stated that the potatoes should be cooked in a deep fryer, but I don't have one, so I baked them, and the results didn't turn out wonderful, so we're just gonna kind of go through the baking process really fast. Here is the batter. You'll take 1 egg and add 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. The recipe actually also calls for 1 tablespoon of water, which I forgot to add. I guess that's what happens when you cook on Yom Kippur. You'll then coat the potatoes in the batter. It was very slippery. It probably would have been better if I had added that water, but you know, it's the first time for this recipe. And then what I did was I baked the potatoes kind of the same way that I bake French fries when I make homemade, which is baking at 425 for 15 minutes and then flip and bake for another 20 minutes. However, the original recipe does call for the potatoes to be deep fried in canola oil, and my results just kind of came out so-so. And I think there's a couple different reasons for that. The potatoes that I used were really big. I think there wasn't quite enough batter to go around. I also forgot the water. Here's that second batch in beef tallow. I think these potatoes definitely would have been better cooked properly. They looked great in the picture in the recipe book. But I'm really proud of myself for trying a new recipe. Even though it didn't come out perfectly, I followed the recipe to the best of my ability. They browned up beautifully. When I did a taste test, they both tasted pretty good. I think the olive oil one was slightly better. This particular recipe honors Guy Gilboa Dalal, and we're going to read his bio now. Guy from Kfar Saba is preparing for his long-awaited trip to Japan and has begun studying Japanese. Guy loves sports and is an avid fan of Maccabi Haifa FC. He loves to laugh and cherishes spending time with his family and friends. Because Guy is not with us for Yom Kippur, Here is the meal that I made to honor his story the best way that I can. I made chicken and challah and homemade kombucha and some peas as well, and the potatoes. B'teavon, and thank you for watching. Gmar Chatima Tova, and Am Yisrael Chai.